Hi friends, it's Julie Golding Page, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in St. Stephen, New Brunswick, Canada, along the tidal Scoodic or St. Croix River, the traditional territory of the Passamaquoddy, and I'm grateful that they share this beautiful place with us. Today I have a free class for you, as I do every fourth Wednesday of the month, and we have 3 projects and they're for Valentine's Day. And so let's get right to it, and I'll give you some crafting news along the way. All right, so here you get a bit of a preview of our projects for today. And sorry about that glare, that's just off my glass mat there. And these are our projects. So we're going to be making this cute little mini mailbox that you can put chocolates and things in. We're going to be making this lovely shaker card. And we're going to finish off with this really super simple card that you can make in a very short amount of time. So let's see, let's start with this shaker card. That's what I'd like to do first. And this shaker card uses the beautiful Love Notes paper. So here is the Love Notes paper. So I'll just show you a couple of different ones out of here. So the Love Notes paper is super nice because you can use it just with these little squares if you like. There's words on one side and no words on the other. So it's really easy to use this to make a card. And in fact, we have no stamping at all on today's card, so it's super easy to make. There's also patterns like this with the red stripes and then the blue kind of checks. And I'll show you one more. This one has some purple on one side and it has hearts on the other. So lots of lovely ones in this pack. And again, it is called Love Notes Mix and Match paper. And for this or for any of the products that I'll be showing today and using, you can just click through on the link that's featured right here in this post. It'll take you to my blog post about today's projects, and you can find out all of the different supply items I used because there's pictures of them all right there for you. All right, so let's go ahead and make our shaker card here. So I'm just going to grab my class packet that I have here. So I've got all these little pieces in here, and the first thing that we're going to do, we're just going to take out all these things. So there's all the little pieces that I've got to work with, and we'll start putting it together. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, since there's no stamping at all, is I'm going to take my piece from that Love Notes paper. So you have this on one side or you have Happy Heart Day on the other. And I'm going to adhere that to my little piece of real red cardstock here. So that's what I'm going to do very first. And then we'll continue on from there. And just while I'm putting this together, I'll let you know that I'm actually part of an international tutorial bundle now featuring our product of the month, which I'll show you later. And when you place an order that qualifies you for the product of the month, you'll also get my free tutorial bundle with 12 different projects featuring the product of the month. So if you don't want to place an order, you can also purchase it for $32. That's the amount set by our tutorial group leader. And that's the way that they work that as well. Okay, so we've got this all stuck together. Oh, hi, Linda. Glad you could make it. Just starting out with this nice little shaker card. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece of the paper. This is a decorative paper, and I've used the perennial postage dies to cut that out. I did that ahead of time just to save us some time with our 3 projects, and we're going to adhere that to our red panel as well. Alrighty. So if you're interested in having the class packet from this class that I'm doing today, it can be given to you absolutely free when you place a $75 order with me. That is before tax and shipping and after rewards used, so $75 order with me. Or if you're on my Creative Cafe team, you can purchase it directly for $20. And if you don't want to place an order and you're not on my team, you just want to buy the class packet, it's $35. And the shipping of the class packet is absolutely free, whichever of those options that you pick. All right. So that's what that's going to look like when we're finished. So now we're going to take one of these. Now this is a clear plastic envelope. So it's called Clear Medium Envelopes, and these come in a pack of 50. And I have to say, I use these all the time. Whenever I give somebody a card, I put them in this little envelope. Because when you put them in one of these envelopes, it protects them from the weather. You can take off this backing from the adhesive here, seal it up, and actually it will fit right inside one of the standard medium envelopes that Stampin' Up! Sells. And so whenever I mail a card, I always put them in one of these envelopes because I figure it'll save it from rain or snow or whatever, especially with all the snowstorms we've had lately. It's a really good thing to have. So I'm going to just slip this panel right in to here, just like that. And now I'm going to add my little shaker elements. Now you can add whatever shaker elements you would like. These will not be included in your class packet, but you can purchase these separately if you would like to. My class packets do have all the papers that you need, all the paper pieces, and you will also get the envelopes for the cards, and you'll also get the ribbons, if there are any ribbons, but just not the embellishments or these little things. So these are the cutest things ever. Look at them. They've got little hearts. I think there's some little lips in there as well. And then these cute little letters. I like these little letters. Look at that with a little heart on them. So cute. So I'm going to put some of those in my little envelope here. I'm just going to tuck them in. And you can just kind of fill it up as much as you want. You can have more or fewer depending on what you want. I think that's probably a pretty good amount that we can kind of shake around a bit. So these are called Loose Valentine's Assortment, and I just thought they were so cute when they first came out. I just simply had to have them. So those are in there now. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take one of these white panels and we're going to take this protective covering off and we're going to adhere it to one of these white panels. So I'm just lining them up there. And then I'm going to fold this down like that. Okay? So I just folded it down and stuck it on the back of that white envelope. But if you look, it's not closed right here. See, it's not closed. So what we have to do now is we have to take some tape and we have to tape that over. So I'm just going to use this regular old household tape. And we're going to just tape it right across there so that it's good and covered. Okay. All right, and I'll show you on here too. So this is what I've got. So I've got it inside there. So you see how I have this second panel covering where I taped all that in there? That's what we're going to do next. So we're going to put this second panel over it. And not only does that cover all this tape bit here, so we won't see it, but it gives more bulk to the back of the card. So I'm just going to use my Stampin' Seal here and adhere this to the back. You could use your multi-purpose liquid glue if you like. And all the things that I'm using today will be Stampin' Up! Unless I otherwise say. All of the adhesives I get from them because I find that their adhesives are super high in quality. And so that's all I buy these days. Oh, I think I did that backwards, didn't I? Oh dear. All right. Okay, so here's what I did. I didn't put it inside. Okay. I just adhered that backwards. Oh well. You know I'm a real person when I make a mistake, right? Okay, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get another panel and we're going to add that on there. Okay. Okay, just bear with me for a minute. I'm just going to cut myself another panel here. I'll be right back. Yeah, you know what it was? I got carried away chatting and I was having fun. And then I totally forgot to look at which side I was putting this panel on. But anyway, that's all right. We'll put this on. It'll definitely have the bulk now. That's cool. All right, so we're going to cover over this flap. That was the whole point of this, like I was telling you while I wasn't doing it. Have you ever done that? Just said, oh yes, this is why I'm doing this, and then you realize you didn't do it? Oh well, that's all right. So there we go. Okay, so now we have it. So you can open and close the shaker card, and these shaker elements don't come out. See, they won't come out there. And we've taped it there and covered it right over so they can't get out. So now they are very nice and secure in here, and you can just kind of put them wherever you like in your card and shake them around. Now we're going to take this Happy Heart Day, and we're going to add that to the front. So one thing I would say, when you're adhering things to the front of your clear medium envelope to make this shaker card, make sure that you do not use liquid glue, because the liquid glue would take really, really, really a long time to dry on the plastic. So I would use a dry glue like Stampin' Seal, which was out of stock for a while, but it's back. Or you could use tear-in tape if you like. This is a double-sided tape on a roll that you can get from Stampin' Up. So one of those two I would suggest. All right, and now I have some hearts already cut, and I'm going to show you where I got those from. It's the Bee Builder Punch. So it does these wings for the bee. So there's the bee, and these are the wings. But these actually double as hearts. And so I've used this punch a lot to make hearts. Again, it's called the Bee Builder Punch. So I already punched out a few of them, and I didn't need them all earlier. So I'm just going to use these extra ones. But we'll use the punch later today as well. All right, so now I'm just going to kind of position these, see where I want them to go. So a couple kind of like that, and maybe one up here, like that. And have another red one there, maybe a red one up higher. Okay, so now we can start sticking them down. And this time I am going to use the tear-in tape because I find it easier to use to stick on these little items. You just use your thumb to hold it down and rip it. So you just tear it. Literally, it's tear and tape. So that's a pretty nice, easy thing to use. So I'd love to hear where you're watching from today and whether you have a lot of snow right now. We got a big snowstorm, and I think a lot of the continent did. Although I don't think we got hit as hard as some places in Ontario, here in New Brunswick. And we had 2 snow days from school in a row. And I have to say, I can't remember the last time that happened. I'd also love to hear if you like to do Valentines for Valentine's Day. I know it's not everybody's favorite. I tend to extend Valentine's Day to be for friends, not just for romantic interest, for friends and family, just those people that we love and value. And it's always been that kind of day for me. But if you don't do Valentine's Day, you can see how this card could be made with different paper, different colors, and you can just do the same thing, basically. So you really don't have to make it a Valentine if you don't want to. All right, now I've got these little red hearts to put on, and this time I'm going to use the mini glue dots to adhere them. That will be much better. All right, so let's see if we can stick that on. There's one, and let's get another one. So you can see how quickly really this will come together. Even with gluing the wrong panel and having to cut a new one, oops, it still was a really super quick card. So it's really not a hard one to put together at all. So there you go. It's all set with all the little shaker elements. So that's card number 1 for us today. I'll just move all these things out of the way and we'll get started on card number 2. Now before I get there though, I did want to show you this preview of my tutorial bundle. So here's the first one, all these different cards. So there's 12 different ones, different projects. And I'm really happy to be involved in another tutorial bundle. It's lots of fun. Okay, so let's do our little mailbox next. How about that? So I love this little mailbox. And you can see you can open it up and you can put like little chocolates in there or some other kind of little treat. You can actually move the little flag, so that's really nice. Oh, hi Kathy, welcome. I just finished a nice shaker card, a simple shaker card, and we're moving on to our little mini mailbox now. All right, so I was just telling everyone that you can get the class packets for these 3 projects for $35 straight up, or if you place an order with me for $75 or more sometime in the next week by the end of February 3rd, I will send them absolutely free. All right, so here we go. Let's see what we can do here. So, all right, I've got all these pieces pre-cut and pre-scored for us here. And I'm just going to grab my instructions. I have some instructions off to the side to make sure I don't get it all messed up here. So let's see. We have this piece of strawberry slush cardstock, and I'm just going to fold on all the score lines to start with here. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do to start. Make sure they're all nice and flexible there. Okay, perfect. All right, so now what I'm going to do is get out my scissors, and I'm going to cut on these bottom score lines. See how I have a score line across and a score line down? We're just going to cut this corner one up till it meets the next line. All right, we're going to flip it over and do the same on the other side. So if you notice, I have this in landscape orientation when I'm doing this, okay? And I'm cutting all of the landscape orientation ones. Okay, just like that. So that's what I've got now. And the next thing is I'm going to cut a small triangle into both sides of each of these little 4 flaps that I've made on the ends. Okay, so we're going to cut a little triangle here and cut a triangle there. Triangle here, triangle there. And you can see I'm not measuring or anything because all of these little flaps are going to be hidden. The reason I'm doing this is it's going to help us to fold the flaps in and adhere them to make a box. So that's why I'm doing this. It's really not needing to be too careful about it. So you can see my flaps are all slightly uneven. I'm just cutting them to make them easier to fold up. So let's take all these little triangles away. And then, whoops, not that piece, we need that one. Then let's see what we do next. Okay, my instructions say to put tear and tape on each flap on the mountain fold side. So this would be the valley side because you're creating a valley. This would be the mountain side because you're creating a mountain. So it'll be on this side, the other side, we're going to put some tear and tape that's going to secure our flaps on our box. So I'm going to do that right now. So it really doesn't matter how you do this as long as it's going to stick securely. And really all these adhesives are so good that they stick really well and I wouldn't worry about them being secure. I'm sure that they will be just fine. I'm going to move that out of the way. So again, this is strawberry slush that I'm using as a cardstock. It's a nice deep kind of strawberry pink. All right, so I've got that. And then we're going to take off the little adhesive coating there. and we are going to fold it up. And I wanted to mention too, that something I'm going to be starting to do, since this is my first big class like this post-Christmas, is I've added another online class that I'm going to offer like this that will be $35 straight up, or $20 for my Creative Cafe members, or absolutely free if you place an order of $75 or more with me within a week of the class. And that is all explained in the blog post. I wanted to mention that I'm doing that now because I'm trying to provide better service to my customers. Things change over time, and I just wanted to shake things up a little and do a few new things. So I hope that this will be valuable. I'd love to hear from you what you think about that. So you can just see I'm folding this inward and then folding up the box. And a change that I'm making as I offer these online classes is I'm going to be including PDF tutorials as well. So in case this looks mystifying, you just fold them in and you fold them in like that. Okay? And so especially for a project like this, the PDF tutorials are going to help you to put your box together. And so I will have that included as part of the class as well. Okay, so there's our little box all done. Now we're going to make the top of the mailbox. So that's this part. So we have, first of all, a piece of cardstock, and then we have this piece of the DSP. And this DSP is a surprising one, actually. I wanted to use this because I didn't want a specifically Valentine's Day DSP, just in case, because I know not everybody likes Valentine's Day. It can have a bad taste for some people, or they just don't care for the colors. So I used this DSP, and surprisingly enough, it is from this pack. It is Celebratory Sips Designer Series paper. And here's some of the patterns that are included. So it's got things like this. It's got fruit patterns. It's got colorful patterns. It's got this one with flowers. Oh, and here's another really nice one. This is very pretty. Another floral one. And then one of the other sides, one of the B sides, I guess, it's got this. And that one has all these little drinks on the other side. So it's kind of an unlikely choice, but I think it really works for a project today. So you really can use whatever paper you like for this. And what we are going to do is we're going to score on here. So we're going to score at a 1/2 inch on either side of this piece of paper when it's in landscape orientation. So I'm just going to grab my trimmer here and we'll do that. Okay. Well, my trimmer is gone AWOL, so let me just go do that off camera. All right, here we go. So this is what I'm going to do. Just going to fold that down. So the side that you want to have visible, so I don't want this side to be the visible side. I want this kind of pinkish side. So I just folded it like a mountain fold on either end. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make these folds meet in the middle. And we're going to stick them on. And you know what? I just feel like I read the material wrong here. Let me just double check. There's a lot of steps here. And I think I scored these a little bit too small. So I'm going to just do a little more there. Yeah, it says 3/4 of an inch instead of a 1/2 inch. So there we go. That makes more sense. So now it will work. So here's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make that little mailbox shape. And we're going to have these papers meet in the middle on the bottom, just like that. So even though I made a second fold there, you know what? Nobody will ever see it because it's on the bottom of the mailbox, so you're not going to look at that. So there's always a fix for these things. All right, so I'm going to put tear and tape on there, and then we can glue it down. All right, so I'm going to put one along here and one along here. Oh, good, Linda, you like the PDFs? Oh, awesome. That's great. Oh, and seeing all the DSP. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I like to see a lot of different DSPs. I think they're so interesting. I find that besides the adhesives, my favorite Stampin' Up! Products are probably the papers because they're so interesting and they always have new ones coming out, and I love that about them. All right, here we go. So let's see if we can put this together so it's going to work properly for us. So I'm just going to put that right in to the fold and then have it fold over onto my paper. And then we'll do the same on this side. I'll put it right into the fold and it'll fold over onto my paper. And look at that, it meets in the middle and slightly overlaps a little bit, so that's perfect. Now, just to make sure it's stuck, what I'm going to do is press my fingers in there by putting it down on the table. So there we go. Okay, so there's our little mailbox. You can see it looks just like that. Same thing. All right, so next what are we going to do? We are going to finish it off. So we have all these little decorative bits here, and we're going to add all those. I'll put it down so you can see it there a little bit better. Okay, so to make this little flag here, what I did was I used a piece of cardstock, and I used these stylish shapes dies, which are one of my very favorite die sets because they're so useful, and I used this littlest one. So you can see right here, this is what it turned out like. And to make a flag, all we're going to do is fold it. So I'm just going to fold it right over in the middle like that. And look, voila, instant flag. Isn't that cool how that works? Now, if you don't have those dies, you could just cut a piece of paper in the right size and that would work as well. But I thought it's got these nice little dots around the edges. It just looks so cute. So I'm really happy to have that. And what we're going to do is take this little piece, we're going to fit it into the fold and glue the insides of our flag so that it sticks together. So that's what we're going to do next. All right, so I'm going to take another piece of tear and tape and we're going to just stretch it the length of this so we get it sticky on both sides, and it should keep everything stuck down very securely that way. And here we go. All right, so here it goes. Let's get that stuck in there. Just try to put it down there. Make sure it's straight, and that looks pretty good. And I'll just stick it down pretty hard. Oh, there we go. Look at that. So that worked really nicely. Okay, so the next part then is that we are going to add our flag to our little box. Now, Stampin' Up! Does not actually have brads. That's what this is stuck on with, a brad. I have a very old container of brads from Stampin' Up! And so I'm going to use one of the old ones. But really, you can just get them wherever these days from a craft supply place. Or if you have some in your stash from years ago, like I did. And I'm going to use my little hole punch. This is also not from Stampin' Up! This is, well, I guess these are from Stampin' Up!, but they're from a long time ago. They don't have them now. This is not from Stampin' Up! It is an 1/8 of an inch hole punch. You can see how little the punch is right there. And I'm just going to punch the end of my flag post here, if I can get it in the middle, just to make a little hole like that. If you don't have a hole punch, what you could do is just use like the tips of your scissors or something. Just get it enough to put the little bits of the brad through for yourself. So it doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to also put a hole right in my mailbox here, wherever you would like the little flag to go. You just punch a hole in the end of it there. And now you're going to need to put your brad all the way through both things to stick it in place, and then it will move as well, which is great. But I'm just going to open up this little brad first. See how it has those two little prongs and they open up? So I like to have it slightly open before I put it through, because sometimes it's really hard to open them up once they're inside something. So there it is. You can see it's right there. It should be pretty straightforward, I think, to open it now. So I'm just going to put it down on a hard surface. It's too hard to do it kind of up in the air like that. So I'm just going to open up those two little prongs and I'm going to press them down. I'll show you. So see how I opened them up, but I pressed them down a little bit as well. There they are. So I'll try to move it so you can see them going. There you go. So the tighter you push this in, the less your flag will move. You can have it pretty tight for a small item like this. You want it so that if you move it halfway, it doesn't fall, right? So I pressed it fairly tightly there, and there it is with the little brad on. Okay, so let's put our box on now. And this is a little bit of a tight fit you're going to find probably. But it will go in, and then you can just push out through the other side and put whatever you want inside. And I'm going to put some decorations on here. So you can see I put hearts on, so you can choose whatever you like. I got them out of these loose Valentine's assortment again. So you could put, oh, I don't know, you could probably put these little letters, actually. You could put a letter with a little heart on it. That would be nice. Maybe I'll do that. I'll take two of those this time, and we'll put those on. All right, I'm going to use a mini glue dot for that. So I'm going to just put these right down on the glue dots and then pick them up. And stick them on here. This is kind of the most detailed and hardest thing to get these little tiny things on. You could also stamp a small message on there if you'd like to, or you could just get an embellishment of some kind and stick that on, and that would also look nice. But I like these little things that are in the loose Valentine's assortment. All right, so I've got one on either side now. There's one on that side and one on that side, and it goes up and down. Now you can see I have these hearts on. So this one is Pretty in Pink, that one is Strawberry Slush, and that one's Pretty in Pink. So I think I'll just do the same thing again. Put them down so you can see them. And I've got my punch, my Bee Builder punch here. And I'm going to use just this little scrap of Pretty in Pink. And there's my big heart. Little one, oh, popped right off the table. Well, you know what? I'll find it when I'm done. So let's do another one. There, now I've got another one there. So I've got those ready. And the other one I want to make is one from Strawberry Slush, and I had this paper going earlier, so let's do one of those. And there we go. So I've got, is that Strawberry Slush? Oh, no, I'm wrong. That's Flirty Flamingo. Well, I'll need that later, so that's all right. Okay, there's the Strawberry Slush. And now we've got that one ready to go. Okay, so now we can put our hearts on the mailbox. So if you like, you could put Happy Valentine's Day on there. You could stamp it. You can use just a piece of ephemera, whatever you'd like to do. But I decided I would like to use these little hearts because I think they're very cute. So I'm going to turn them over and put on some tear and tape again. And then we'll add those. All right, here we go. And then I'll get a glue dot for that final one. All right. So there's one there. I'm going to take this tear and tape off. We're going to put that this way. And we'll get our little glue dot for our final heart. All right. Okay. Okay, so there's our little mailbox. So you can see it's really not very difficult once you kind of know how the thing goes together. And it's super cute. It'd be really, really nice as a little treat box. And so that's our project number 2. All right, our third project is this one. And it is a card that could be used for Valentine's Day, or it could be used for another occasion. And I made it this way for a reason, because again, not everybody goes for Valentine's Day. And I thought, why don't I make a card that's good for any occasion? And it could be Valentine's Day because it's got some pink, but I also used this Secret Sea color. And I really liked the combination of the darker pink, the lighter pink, a bit of white, and then this almost black, but it's kind of a blue, deep blue gray sort of color. It's kind of the new black, I find. It's a really, really versatile color that looks good with almost everything. So here's what we've got to work with. So let's do our stamping first. I always like to get the mess out of the way first. So I used those Stylish Shapes dies again for this. That's this set, and I used the biggest of the chevron labels. Last time I used the smallest. And then we're just going to stamp our message on there. And this is where I'm going to use the product of the month. So if you haven't heard about the product of the month, it is an item that you can get with your $100 order. So $100 is the minimum to spend, and then you can add this product for just $5. So you can get a whole stamp set, which is a really good one. Look, it's got birthday, thank you, hello. You can do anything, so encouragement, sending love, which could be almost any occasion, you're on my mind, like all kinds of really, really good sayings. And $5, so you can't beat it. And my tutorial bundle is featuring this stamp set. So there's 12 projects. So lots of ideas. And this one, we're going to use Sending Love. Oh yes, Linda, you're right. It is Secret Sea. Secret Sea, I just love that color. It's so nice. I'm really happy they came out with it. I like the black ink pads that you get from Stampin' Up. They're the fabric ink pads. And sometimes it can be a little bit hard to get a really dark black out of them. But this Secret Sea is a great stand-in for black, I find. But yet it gives a little color to your project, so it's not a straight-up black. I just really, really like it. Okay, so there's Sending Love. So when you stamp, if you've never stamped before, rather than going squish right in, I just tap. You can see I'm just tapping. I'm not squishing hard, just tapping repeatedly. And then you can see that the ink is there and it's ready to go. So we're just going to try this here. It just barely fits on this particular label, but it looks really cool on there. And I just hold it down for several seconds. And then let's get that off. Yeah, look how nice the job is that it does. Like very clear, very dark, bold sentiment. I really like Secret Sea. So if you're looking for a color that's sort of like black, but gives a little elegant touch to it, Secret Sea is a winner. All right, I'm just going to clean up my stamp before I move on here. on my very well used Simply Chamois, which is also from Stampin' Up. You just take this foamy material, you wet it down underwater till it's pliable like this, wring it out, and then you just clean your stamps with water. So you can see it gets it right off. I like that a lot. Okay, so we'll take that off and we'll put it right back in our stamp set so we don't lose it. Okay, there we go. So that's our only piece of stamping. So we can start sticking together all the pieces at this point. So let's take our card base. This one is basic white cardstock. I've scored it in the middle. And I'm just going to use my bone folder there to give it a nice crisp fold. And we're going to take this paper. Now look at that. You can see that's embossed. I really like this new embossing folder. It just came out in January. And it is this one. It is called Stone and Vine 3D Embossing Folder. And it makes a spectacular result, I think. I really, really like how this looks. And you can see how raised that is, and so much detail. And that's that secret C. You can see it looks sort of blue, sort of gray, almost black, but not quite. And we're going to put that as our background piece right there. So you can use whatever adhesive you would like for this. Any of them will work because this is just straight up cardstock. And I'm going to stick that right on the front there. Okay, so I'm going to put that off to the side now. We're going to work on this piece in the middle. So I have this paper here, and this paper has a secret C pattern on the back. This one, it is from Mixed Up Patterns. So I'm going to just pull that out for a sec. I don't know if you've heard about this one. I don't think there's been a lot of publicity about it. Mixed Up Patterns. So I'll show you a few of the ideas here. So there's one of them. It's kind of a neat pattern. And that one's on the back. And then you've got this, which is completely different altogether. So you've got this floral pattern, and then you've got yellow striping on the back. Now I'll just pull out one more just to show you. Mixed Up Patterns is a good name for it because there's a little bit of everything in here. So if you're not sure what you want, maybe this pack is the one you would like to get. So this one's got green striping, and then on the back, it's got this very subtle pale checks, or diamonds actually. So really interesting set of patterns there. And I wanted this one because it's got these beautiful flowers. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal yet again. This one you could use your multi-purpose liquid glue if you like. That lasts for a long time, so it's a great economical choice for sure. And it does work with most things. Okay, it looks like there's a little something on the end. I'm just going to use this. See if it will remove it or not. So this is a glue eraser, but it will often remove a lot of other marks too. I think it made it a little better anyway. And then what we're going to do is take our ribbon and we're going to make this piece right here. So the ribbon that I'm using is Secret C bordered open weave ribbon. So that's a new ribbon as well. So I'm just going to measure it off right now. And then I'm going to use my glue dots on it to stick it to the back. So rather than wrap it around and actually tie it, this uses less ribbon and makes a more elegant look. And it also makes it so it's not, well, it's more flat, I guess, is the best way to put it. So I like that because I end up mailing a lot of my cards, so I want them to be as flat as possible to go through the postal slot and machines, and then they don't get all messed up in the machines, and I don't pay more either. All right, there we go. So we just stuck it on the back like that. Then I'm going to feed another piece through, just like this, while it's still on the spool, so I waste less. because it's really hard to kind of estimate how much you need ahead of time. And we'll just cut that there. I think that's going to be too much actually, so I'll take that much off. And that much off. There. All right, so that was pretty easy. So again, Secret C comes to the rescue. It's a great color. So that's what I've got on there so far. And what we can do now that we've got our ribbon on, we'll flip this over and we'll put our dimensionals on the back. All right, I put one on each of the four corners and one in the middle. Again, because of those postal machines, because they do press on the mail, and I don't want it to have this dip in the middle of the card. So this will make sure that it raises it up to the level of all those other little adhesives. All right, make sure I got it right side up here. And then we'll put it on. Okay, so now we're going to make sure we have all these hearts made. So again, we're going to pull out our Bee Builder punch. And we're going to do a strawberry slush large heart. And there's one. We're going to do a pretty in pink large heart. There it is. And we need one more, and that is Secret C. So let's see, we just want a small one of those, just to kind of bring together the color scheme with this Secret C heart. All right, so I'm just going to close that up again. So just, if you've never opened one of these before, you press up, it opens it. You put in your paper through this side or through either side, through the bottom or through either side, and press it this way so you can see what it's punching. And then to close it, you push it down and pull the button back. So there you go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put dimensionals on all the back here. Again, this is another adhesive from Stampin' Up! That I like very much. So we'll just put one on there and one on there. That's plenty. They stick really hard. As anyone can tell you, if they've ever tried to move one after they've placed it, they certainly don't move easily, that's for sure. Sometimes you can't. You have to start again. So they're really, really sticky. Okay, so let's maybe put this kind of like that, partway down. Yeah, that looks good. Then we'll take our pink heart and we'll place it there, kind of at an angle. We'll take our next heart, we'll place it there at the same angle. Then we'll take our Secret C heart and we'll add that as well. Okay, so we're going to put that just across the two of them like that. Okay, so that's what we've got so far, and that's perfectly nice by itself, but I do like this little bit of bling and color up here to bring the rest of it all together. So what I'm going to use is these embellishments. These are new. They're called Sparkle Dot Essentials, and I like them because they come in such nice colors. Look at these colors. Aren't they beautiful? And we're going to use these ones, which I believe are Pretty in Pink, because they match this Pretty in Pink here. So we're going to take a small one and put it kind of here, a medium-sized one and put it kind of here, and the largest one, and we're going to put it up here. So that is the end of our card, and I'll show you it. And if you click through to my blog post, I do have individual pictures of each of these cards and all the details on how to get the class packets. But they are free with a $75 order that you place anytime in the next week by the end of February 3rd. And I'll just bring all these projects back so you can see them. And I'll grab the last card. Where did I put that? There it is. Okay, so there's the last of them. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this class, and I hope that you are having fun preparing for Valentine's Day or whatever other occasions you have coming up. Again, if you don't have a demonstrator, I would be happy to help you. I can help anybody across Canada with a Canadian address, and just shoot me off a message here on Facebook or visit my website, which you can go to by clicking the link right here in the post, and I'd be happy to hear from you. All right, thanks so much. Bye for now, and have a wonderfully crafty week. See you next time.